Welcome to Gifts in Strange Wrapping Paper, a podcast where we explore the transformative power of life's unexpected challenges. I'm your host, Kelly Getz, an intuitive educator and leadership coach. My journey into holistic practices began after our stillbirth of our second son in 2007, a profoundly devastating experience that I now lovingly refer to as a gift in strange wrapping paper. This pivotal moment revealed my life's purpose to teach and empower others to heal with grace, love, and gratitude, and to live their best lives now. Join me as we delve into the stories of resilience, healing, and personal growth, uncovering the hidden gifts within life's most challenging times. Welcome to another gift in strange wrapping paper. Today, in this moment in time, I am simply standing in a forest preserve right behind our home. It's actually across the street and behind our home. And I've walked in this little forest preserve before. Usually it's been so dense with trees that there's pretty much one main pathway in and out. And over the last few years, they've been slowly thinning it out with the intention of getting rid of dead trees or trees that were not part of this natural environment, trees that had, I guess, infiltrated that didn't originally belong here. And so they've been clearing it out. And initially I was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing with those trees? And it was a little bit concerning at first. And what I've been watching over time is slowly more of the wildlife has been coming back in the spring and the summer months. And many of the trees are still here. And as I sit and walk around this forest preserve, you can actually walk all over and amongst all these really amazing trees. And I came over here today because I found myself realizing I needed to record our podcast today and talk about gifts in strange wrapping paper. And what tends to happen is that amongst the week, even though I have best intentions that I'm going to record, amongst the week, all these other things start showing up. So on my deadline of having the recording done by Thursday, usually what's happening throughout the week is I'm getting all this great, incredible inspiration. Only I'm working on something else, or I'm showering, or I'm walking, or I'm on my way to work, and I'm not in a position to write it down or record it. And yet I am so spiritually connected, and I can feel the energy of what I'm being asked to talk about. Only physically, I can't record it in that moment. And so it's like, it's not that I lose it, but it's like I don't get to sit and enjoy it and write it down or record it in that moment. Instead, what happens is the week transpires and all these other things start coming about that need to happen, need to get done. And I land on Thursday and I'm like, okay, now it's crunch time. It's time to record. And I've been thinking about it over the last 10 weeks. And this past week, I took a much needed break off of recording. And I did something that is near and dear to my heart. I had the opportunity to teach a bunch of beautiful women tools and techniques from the Eden method, techniques that I have used for years now to help balance my energy. And I have shared those tools with many people. In fact, like the Eden method and the Lifeline technique and Pathways for Successful Living, where I learned all sorts of different tools and techniques to help build a better relationship with myself and others, and leadership skills, other tools and techniques like forgiveness work, Reiki's in there, the wisdom of your face, Chinese face reading and clearing. All these great tools and techniques that I've gathered over the last 25 years. one of my goals for this podcast has been to just plant little bits of wisdom and share some of those tools and techniques with each and every one of you. And I realized along the way that what I desire in this podcast is that, through stories of challenge of my own and other people's, that I can help each and every one of you a little bit on your journey. I know from my own experience that when we are in the depth of a challenge, it can feel hopeless at times. It can feel like painful. It can feel very isolating. It can feel that level of uncertainty can feel scary. And what I also realize is that although all of that is true, all of the challenges that I've gone through, whether in my youth or in my adulthood, every single challenge that each and every one of us walks through, every single one of those, ultimately, if you look for some meaning in it, oftentimes we look at why is this happening to me? It's as if we think we're not supposed to have problems. We're not supposed to be challenged. And quite honestly, that's not life. There's always going to be challenge. In fact, those challenges, those horrible things that happen, unexpected, or the horrible things that maybe sometimes people do, or those difficult decisions that we have to make in stepping away from a relationship maybe that was important to us, or a job that was important to, whatever it is. Maybe it's a layoff or a job loss. Maybe it's an illness. Maybe it's losing a family member. Whatever those challenges are that often bring up fear, sadness, grief, pain, physical or emotional. When I have looked at my own challenges and looked for a glimmering light, anything that I could attach to hope, however small it may have been in the moment, and I have followed that light and that hope and that intention, knowing that the pain I'm in isn't going to be forever. It's just a period of time. What I've discovered is all of these incredible tools and techniques that I've included in my journey to help support my body, my energy field, my relationships, so I can get through to the other side. Tools and techniques that I learned from Jeff and Sue Page during my many, many years of volunteering for Pathways for Successful Living. Tools and techniques from the Lifeline technique that I learned from Dr. Darren Weissman, who helped me during a very pivotal time in my life when I was grieving, uncertain if I could get pregnant again. Tools and techniques that I've learned from Chinese medicine, from forgiveness work, people like John Newton. Tools and techniques that I've learned from Donna Eden and the Eden Method as one of her advanced practitioners and faculty instructors. Tools and techniques I've learned from Jean Hainer, Chinese face reading and clearing energy with the 5 rhythms. Every single tool or technique that I have learned from those mentors and others, I keep within the wisdom of my body and my soul. It's like if you can imagine a doctor's bag, for example, all those tools and techniques are in my bag that I carry with me everywhere. And all of the different challenges that I've walked through in the last 25 years, gathering those tools and techniques and mastering many of them, some I'm still working to master, have guided me to this moment in time where I feel that it is a must to share all of that wisdom. It's not my wisdom. In fact, it's probably not even owned by the people that shared it with me. It's universal wisdom. And each one of those different tools or techniques that my mentors have taught me and shared with me and mastered for themselves, I feel like this intense responsibility to share those with other people who may not have had the resources, the finances, or even the openness to discover them on their own. It's like my soul is demanding almost. It's a responsibility that, yes, I could keep them all to myself and I could keep working with them and I can keep building my own life and expanding my own life while using them. However, I feel like it's my responsibility to share them with people like yourself who need them. So with gifts in strange wrapping paper, I also feel it's so important that when we are in those dark, challenging moments and we don't see the light and we don't know how to navigate what we're going through, and let's face it, every challenge that each one of us goes through, it's not something we've been prepared for. It's not something we knew was coming. It's not something that we expected to happen. In fact, usually and more often, it's that unexpected challenge that you never saw coming that suddenly you're in the midst of. And I know from working with thousands of people, different people over the course of these last 25 years, I know that when you're in that depth and that darkness, it's hard to see the light. I know because I've walked it. And if each of you think about one of those challenging moments that you've already been through and that you got through, if you really think about it, you can find some level of a gift, a precious gift of how your life changed and transformed. Maybe it's a new friend that showed up in your life that was unexpected, that is now so important to you. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a new skill that you adopted. I know when life is good and joyous and great, it's fun. It's magical. When we're on top of the world and everything is going well and there's no challenges, it feels really, really yummy and good. And we want to hang out there forever. And the truth is, where each of us grows the most is in those challenges that we don't want to have. And I remember when I first learned the term gift in strange wrapping paper, and I was going through one of my challenges 18 years ago, having just gone through a real deep loss that you can learn more about in my first episode. And I had several mentors walking that journey with me. Sue Page, and I met Dr. Darren Weissman, Dr. Guo. I met a lot of different people that were walking that journey with me. And when I was sharing my hardship with Darren, he said, it's just a gift in strange wrapping paper. And at the time, I really wasn't certain what he was saying, why he was saying it, what he meant by it. But it became part of who I am and part of my knowing. So much so that several years later, I was with a dear friend going through another hardship, and it was a really tough one, and I won't say what that is. And I didn't know what to say to her. She was in pain. She was hurting. She was troubled. She didn't see her way out of the current situation she was in. And I'm looking at her knowing she hasn't been sleeping or eating right, or she'd lost a ton of weight. And I didn't know her plight, and I didn't know her internal sense. But because I had embraced this idea and made it part of me, that my challenges, my pains were just simply gifts, that something great was going to come out of every single challenge I faced, I looked at her and said, this is just a gift in strange wrapping paper. And I know right now, wherever each and every one of you are at, I know right now, many of you are hurting. Many of you feel lost. Many of you are struggling what's going on in the world or what's going on in your family. And I know from experiencing it myself and watching my clients and my students go through, I know with every cell in my being that something good, there is always light that comes out of the darkness. Always. Something good will come out of whatever this dark time that you're facing is. I know it. I've experienced it. I've seen it. And sometimes the bigger challenge is to hang on to the hope and the trust and the light that something good can come out of this difficult time. For myself, I've had experiences where things have turned and I've received, and that understanding, that knowing of what that beautiful gift is in short time. Other times it's taken a year, and other times it's taken 15 years. And the main thing that I recognize is even the ones that have taken 15 years, when I break down each little moment along the way, the little pieces of pain along the way, I can see the light, the gift in strange wrapping paper in the moment. It's almost like stacking blocks. When I hear people's stories, and I am blessed and honored to hear a lot of people's stories. When I hear people's stories about what they've been through, whether it's abuse, whether it's tremendous loss of one family member after the other, whether it's watching their loved ones with a debilitating disease and becoming the caretaker and all that that implies, or losing job after job. What I know is when those stories are deep with pain, I also know I'm always in awe. I'm in awe of people that have gone through things worse than what I've gone through, and I've had my share. I'm in awe because I look at them and I think, wow, something really good is going to come out of this. Something really good. In fact, when I hear your stories, I think, wow, you're going to do something really big. You have the tools and the wisdom deep within your soul and every single cell in your body that you're going to ultimately be able to help other people because you've experienced this deep loss, this deep pain, this deep struggle. And it's almost like I can see the gift in strange wrapping paper forming, and I start seeing all the people that they're going to help having walked through their journey. And that might not be professionally helping somebody else. It just might be that them living their life and them working through that challenge, and I can't say overcoming, but healing whatever that heartache is, you're going through, that they're going through, that it's like they become a walking miracle. They become a walking testimony for life, for love, for growth, for contribution. So even if it's not a professional thing that they end up doing as a result of that heartache, it's like they move through the world with this perseverance, this strength, this inner strength. I see you walking through it with inner strength. And in that, as you share little bits and pieces of what you've been through with other people awaken to this knowing that, wow, if they can keep moving and keep growing and keep helping other people, even helping me in this one little moment in time by sharing a piece of their story and the strength they gain from walking through it, then I can too. And I think that's one of the biggest gifts that we as human beings give to one another, is that when we share our stories, when we share our heartache, and when we share how we grew and how we evolved, how we now look at life with such precious eyes or gratitude. I think that's the connection, the human connection that we all need to heal and to grow. Doing it in a bubble, doing it by ourselves isn't as expansive. There is this thing that when we share our hearts, our souls, our pains, our losses, and our victories, or our newfound wisdom, having gone through some of the things people go through, and I've heard a lot of tremendous stories, I think we give and we offer everyone a piece of hope, a piece of light, a piece of perseverance to keep on moving. So with gifts and strange wrapping paper, this term that was once shared with me by Dr. Darren Weissman, it's like become part of my awareness, part of my knowing, that every single thing that any of us can walk through, as hard as it is going to grow and transform us if we allow it. We can definitely get bitter and angry and resentful that we're having to go through that experience. But I once had this thought 18 years ago. I thought, wow, I don't want to be going through what I'm going through. I don't want to experience the pain and loss of what I'm going through. And then I started looking around and paying attention to what other people were going through. For some, it was divorce or cancer. For others, it was losing a parent. And we're all going to eventually move on and pass, transition, die. But I started looking around at other options. Like, it was almost like I wanted to trade my pain in, my struggle in, my challenge in, trade it for something else. And as I looked around at what everybody else was going through, and some people weren't going through anything in that moment, but there was plenty that were, I thought, do I really want to trade my pain for their pain, the unknown pain that they were going through? And I realized, as much as I didn't want my pain and my struggle and my challenge, I didn't really want to trade it in for theirs. And the reason I didn't want to trade it in for theirs is because on some level, I was already starting to learn from mine and starting to grow through mine and starting to discover that I'm stronger than I thought I was, that I was more hopeful than I thought it was. And as I look back in time, all the different spiritual gifts I was getting long before I even coined or heard the term gifts and strange wrapping paper, I was already gaining so much spiritual connection, wisdom, and connection with myself. And also this perseverance to keep on going. And so I realized I really didn't want to trade my pain for somebody else's pain because, quite honestly, I didn't know how I was going to navigate their pain. I didn't know how I was going to navigate their struggle. And I was already learning how to navigate mine. So while I don't think the grass is greener on the other side of the picket fence, I do think that each and every one of us has a choice of how we're going to move through. And if we remember that even in the worst times, if you look back to other times that were challenging and difficult, and the ways that you grew, the ways that you learned, the ways that you evolved, and you look at this present time, and know, even if you don't see the growth yet, and even if you don't see the gift yet, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Follow the light. Even if that light is simply a speck of light. Follow the light. Follow the hope. And if there is no hope, seemingly, how can you create hope? How can you create hope for yourself? How can you create hope for others? Sometimes it's as simple as being in a grocery store and seeing somebody having a bad day and leaving them noticed, seen, saying their name, saying hello, acknowledging them, letting them know you see them. That might be just enough light that they need to take another step in whatever's going on in their lives. I've also thought in the last few weeks, well, who am I talking to? Initially, people thought I was talking to people that had had stillbirths, miscarriages, or loss of their infant in the first year. And yes, I have stories that I can call in from having had a stillbirth. But it's not really about loss and about grief. It's really an opportunity to say that whatever it is, there's these amazing tools that you can use and plug into to move the energy of your body, to shift yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, that you can use for any struggle. So really, this podcast isn't just about grief. It's not just about losing an infant, although I will use those stories at times. This podcast is for you. A place to remember that you're bigger than your problems. A place to remind yourself that we all have challenges and we all have a choice. We can take that challenge and allow it to stop us in our tracks, keep us from whatever our dream or our goal or our destiny is. Or we can take that challenge and we can say, what else is possible? What can I learn here? How can I respond differently? And if your body is feeling compressed, what tool or technique can I use to create space and movement in my body, in my life, so I can discover that inner healer within myself? Because the truth of the matter is, we all need a support system. We all need people in our lives to walk this journey with us, because as human beings, that's how we grow and evolve. That's how we know that we're bigger than these bodies, that we're spiritual beings having this experience, this physical experience. And so walking amongst each other, sharing our stories amongst each other, and sharing our growth and what we've learned, even if it seems small, adds a little light to somebody else's life, adds a little hope that they're bigger than their problems, that their problems are just these huge opportunities, huge leverage to transform, evolve, and grow. So gifts in strange wrapping paper, really, it's for the person that wants to be transformed. And when I think of transformation, it's not about becoming. When I think of transformation, what I really think transformation is discovering your higher self, awakening to who you were really designed to be, discovering that you are more powerful than your problems. That transformation may appear to some like you're a changed person. And I would wonder, are you a changed person, or are you more the person that you were designed to be? So it's for the person that wants to transform and discover how amazing and incredible they are. It's for the person that wants to be empowered. Well, I've had some of the best mentors, and I am so grateful for all of my teachers and mentors, and that knowing that the more I learn and the more I know, there's more to learn and there's more to grow. I'm not done. I only know a part. And what I do know is it needs to be shared with other people. So gifts in strange wrapping papers for the person that wants to be empowered, that wants to awaken the healer within themselves, that wants to transform those places in their lives where they're in a state of reaction, where they can discern and they can choose to respond to those situations or circumstances, no matter how difficult, scary, or challenging something is. That you have the tools and the ability to grow, to transform, to evolve, and to contribute to other people's lives. Gifts in strange wrapping paper is not a place to be enabled. It's not a place to be a victim. It's a place to be the leader in your own life. There is nothing greater than teaching or supporting somebody else tools, techniques, or inspire them to look within, to find their own answers. Because guess what? Those answers are there. If you just tune into your body and you ask, what do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? The answers are there. So gifts in strange wrapping paper is about empowerment. You being empowered. You growing. You evolving. You recognizing that you are so much bigger than your problems. That what you have within you can transform, can shift, and change the lives of others. I'm all about empowerment. I'm all about teaching others to trust themselves, to allow themselves to transform, to rediscover their own internal light. Gifts in strange wrapping paper is for the person that wants to take that light within them and turn it up bright so they can discover their own aha moments every single day. And I'm not saying you don't need somebody to teach you, and I'm not saying you don't need support, and I'm not saying at times you will feel lost. You will. And here, my hope is that you'll rediscover how incredibly perfect, unique, whole, and perfect you are. So gifts in strange wrapping paper is about learning to be empowered. It's about discovering ways to transform your situation, your circumstance, your current physical, emotional, mental, spiritual awareness into something greater. It's about awakening that inner healer. It's about looking at those challenges as these incredible gifts that has made you the incredible person you are today. It's about awakening the spirit. And it's about remembering that we're all connected, we're all one. That when you heal, or when I heal, we all heal together. Because we remind one another, if they can heal, if they can be an expression of joy or love or happiness, I can too. If they can learn to discover the many gifts in the challenges that they faced and become a better, stronger, brighter person, a leader of their lives, I can too. I can too. We need each other to remember to open our minds and our souls to the greater possibility of who we are as spiritual beings. And the last thing that I get so excited about, empowerment, transformation, is learning and teaching other people to discover their own voice. So often, people keep their voice, their wisdom to themselves. Or if they're having a challenging conversation or relationship, they fall into people pleasing. They stay quiet. They don't share their hearts fully and completely. And so the last thing that I'm really find so incredibly important is that people find their voice in a way that is healthy to them and others, so they can share what is true for them when they're hurting, when they're happy, that they discover that their voice matters, that whether or not they choose to be a teacher, that we're all teaching one another every single moment of the day. And so finding and discovering your own voice and knowing that your journey, your growing, your learning matters and can help and contribute to somebody else's life. And then when we keep quiet and we don't share what's really true for us from our hearts, not our heads, it's a disservice not only to yourself, but those that you're in relationship with. So Gifts and Strange Wrapping Paper is also about discovering your own voice and using it in a way that strengthens you and builds your confidence. And within all of this, it's about mastering where you're at. No tool or technique learned once without mastery is effective. So taking all of the wisdom and the knowledge of what other people share and their stories and what they've learned and tools that you've walked through, and repeating them and using them again and again and again, or speaking up again and again and again, or each moment when you're in one of those places of challenge where you don't quite see the gift yet, getting up. We all love the hero's journey, where we see someone that has gone through such tremendous pain and yet they're smiling every day. Each one of us gets inspired by that. And recognizing that the gift in this moment might just be getting up another day and doing something slightly different to make that day just a little bit better for yourself or others. Repetition is key when we're growing and evolving and mastering the subtle little tools or techniques or mind thought or how we hold our body, to slowly but consciously making shifts and transformation and growth every single day. My hopes in contributing and sharing some of my stories and other people's stories, that you will be empowered here, that you will see yourself transforming, that you will discover that your voice matters, and you will learn to see things just a little bit different and learn tools and techniques along the way, no matter how small they may appear, how powerful they are when they're used on a regular basis or pulled out of your own little toolkit and use when you need it. My hopes for you is that you will discover that you are perfect, whole, and complete, and that your journey matters, and your ability to see your challenge as great opportunities to grow, transform, evolve, and contribute to others, where you can celebrate that the hardest thing has been something precious that has made you the person you are today. I look forward to awakening another chapter of Gibson's Strange Wrapping Paper. Thanks for being here today.